Good evening. I'm Harry Keeling, and on behalf of Alaska Public Media and the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation, welcome to Hangar Flying. In fact, this evening we welcome back our guest, Kerry Long. Kerry is the FAA Regional Administrator for Alaska and has been in the job just over a year. Kerry was raised in New York State, graduated from Colgate, and later from law school at Cornell. Before going off to law school, Kerry served with a surface warfare ship with the U.S. Navy. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
What followed were jobs from Wall Street to Washington, D.C. Throughout, there was a connection with aviation. In 2007, he became the chief counsel for the FAA and later moved to the NTSB. What still strikes me about Kerry is his incredibly approachable nature, his thoughtful interest in what you have to say, and his heartfelt concern for aviation safety, particularly here in Alaska. Kerry, it's a real pleasure to welcome you back.
Thank you, Harry. Happy to be here.
You've been at the helm here in Alaska for a little over a year. Anything you'd like to share with the audience about your enthusiasm, your observations this first year?
Well, lots. Thanks for saying helm. That takes me back to the Navy days. I appreciate that. It's been a challenging year. It's been a year of some accomplishments. I am humbled by the accidents that we've had recently, and I say what I say only because I think folks need to know that the FAA is an organization with a mission maybe similar to the military in the sense of strength, that mission is aviation safety, and there are an awful lot of people working very hard to keep the flying public, the pilots, safe and keep the villages supplied and so on. So I'll mention some of the things we've done along the way, but I think what looms is the questions I can't answer, which is how can we do better in some of the issues we've been talking about. How do you keep people from doing things that a regulator can't really regulate? Some things that they need to think more about before they do it. Now, you have spoken and written about this so many ways. Your safety seminars talk about them all the time. But in terms of things we've done, I believe we've done our best to help. We've restored, for example, the Ketchikan Harbor Winds Unit, which gives floatplane pilots on the way into Ketchikan the ability to get a measure of the winds south of the airport. So they have what we understand is a critical need for that information in order to make determinations about where and when they land.
And that's operational now?
It's operational now. It was just certified. There are a couple of issues that need ultimately to be resolved for it to continue in place. But it's, there's a required check-in with the Flight Service Station in Ketchikan. I think it's the only one in the nation like that. And they get the information from that Harbor Winds machine now, regularly. So I was glad for that. The weather camera program, which is a favorite of yours and mine, and just about everybody I go see, and particularly the 135 carriers, just love to have the weather cameras on. I have them demonstrate it when I go, and they're proud of the way they can use them. They always have questions about how they can use them better. We always put them in touch with Walter Combs, who's in charge of the weather camera program, who has been known to get a suggestion on the phone in the morning and make changes on his website by the afternoon. They make new cameras. They even have, we have an experiment of sorts that in cooperation with the National Park Service, and you'll have to correct me, the Kahiltna Glacier.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you. In Denali, where we have a seasonal camera with weather information that's on the website because it was requested. I think it was the park folks that wanted it, and so far as we can tell, it's a success and is contributing to safety up in that area.
And you had mentioned that where you replace cameras, the cameras you're putting in actually have more light gathering capability and improved optics, or?
Well, remember, I guess when these all started, they were sort of these long boxes and subject to weather issues, to fogging, when it was damp. And Walter's and his people have refined, he's always traipsing up to my office with the latest thing, and there's this little box with a little heat band around it to keep it from fogging up. And what they are constantly doing, I guess like our cell phones, is they have the ability to have the camera function with less light. So what that does is get you more into the twilight towards the
Right.
evening and more into the twilight at sunrise.
Right.
So he doesn't want to use infrared because it distorts the picture, you see. And the theory is with pilots, you want to see on that camera website what you're going to see when you fly out there. So I think it saves lives weekly, frankly, the go, no-go decision, which I think is so critical.
Absolutely. Kerry, we have run out of time, and before we end the session, I want to make sure I get you back next time, because I want to talk a little bit focused on aviation safety. And I also don't want to pass up the opportunity to thank you on behalf of all of your FAA employees. They're dedicated public servants. They all work together with the aviation interest in the state to make flying safer. So please convey that message to your people on behalf of the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation.
I sure will, Harry. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed tonight's program. Tune in next time. We're going to have Kerry back and talk a little bit about some of the safety concerns this summer. Until then, fly safe.